After I implemented all of these daily variables into my life, I was able to change my life completely from a street kid that was always getting into trouble and failed the education system with no grades and no certificates to being able to make more money than all my teachers combined. My name's Kamil, known as the Ecom King, and this is how I managed to change my life from a broke street kid who failed the education system to being able to generate multiple 7 figures online within 3 years with a net profit of multiple 6 figures. So this is how my life looked like before I actually started businesses, entrepreneurship, e-commerce. So my life looked pretty much like this. So I would work 2 day jobs, which would be Primark and JD Sports. After I finished the day job, I'd go out with my friends, go to house parties, go to clubs, go to meetups, go to gatherings, get into trouble, get into fights at these gatherings, get into trouble with the police one night. So my life was just a complete mess before actually starting e-commerce and dropshipping. As you know, I failed all my grades, so I had no chance of getting a high paid job. So my life was just a complete shambles. I had nothing going for me. Nobody thought I was ever going to be successful. Then I came across Robert Kiyosaki and his cash flow quadrant that taught me about the 4 ways of making money in the world and the 4 types of people in this world. Number 1 are employees, people that work for other people and get paid based on their time. Number 2 was self-employees, people that work for themselves but still only get paid based on their time. Then we have business owners that leverage other people or systems to make money. Then we have somebody called investors. So as soon as I came over this Robert Kiyosaki cash flow, straight away I saw myself being the employee, which was working for money and working for somebody else. Then I saw the business owner part on the cash flow quadrant and I knew that's exactly where I wanted to be in my life. So now I'm going to explain to you guys literally through each process I took. So I went through 3 different stages. 1, being completely broke, making no money, getting into trouble, being a mess at college. Then stage 2, which is making a little bit of money online with e-commerce, and then stage 3, being able to generate $10,000 to $30,000 in net profit every single month. So I'm going to be going through my daily kind of plan, what I was doing at what parts of the day, like 9 a.m, 8 a.m, 12 a.m, and stuff like that. So I'll be talking to you guys literally about what I'll be doing in every single part of my day. So this is how my life looked like in the first stage of my life, which was me, of course, being at college and whatnot and being broke and getting into trouble. So what I'd do is I'd start off by waking up at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. because obviously the night before I was out till late, so I'd wake up really late in the morning. So that meant I was going to college really late and behind everybody else. Teachers would always be like, "Cam, where have you been?" Especially in my second year of college. My first year of college, I got really on with my teacher. They understood the kind of life I was living. Second year into my college degree, the teacher didn't understand me and the life I was living, so they'd always kick up a fuss. Then what would happen is I'd get others to actually do my work for me at college. I was actually paying people and actually like kind of harassing people at college to do my work for me because I had assignments that were due. So I was actually getting other people, and shout out to those people that were doing my work for me in college because I just had no commitment to it. Then what I was also doing is, whilst those people were helping me in college, I was actually watching YouTube videos, and the videos that I was watching in class were actually entrepreneurial videos. Like I said, Robert Kiyosaki, that's when I discovered the cash flow quadrant. And it was other people like Neil Patel, people like those that had a lot of influence in the e-commerce space. So then the next thing I would do is I would leave college really early, earlier than I should have. So college finished at 4 p.m. and I'd leave college at 1 or 2 p.m. Now the reason why I always left early is because I got super bored and I just wasn't motivated to do college work. Now there's always a bus that picks us up at the end of college at 4 p.m. but I'll just get the train early and get straight home. And then once I got home, what I started to do was build Instagram pages, build Weebly websites, and I got addicted to building websites and making them look perfect, making them look special, and I just got really addicted to it, but I'd never pull the trigger. So through this process I was kind of getting onto the entrepreneurial ladder, but I just wasn't willing to pull the trigger. I'd make these websites but I'd just never publish them. So then what I would do after I've done the Instagram pages and I built a few websites and messed around with it because I wasn't really serious about it, was I'd go out and meet with my friends, go to their house, go to the cafe. One of my friends owned a cafe, so in the night when it was closed he'd reopen it just for me and the lads, and we'd just chill there and just mess around and we'd hang out and catch up and whatnot. What I'd do is would get there, have a laugh, but I was always the one that would come home early. Like they were out till really late, but I'd come home really early, and they used to always take the mick out of me for it and call me an idiot for coming home really early. As soon as I came home early, and the reason why I came home early was because I noticed with my friends that they didn't really want to go far in life in terms of they had no ambition to do a business on their own. When I told them about me wanting to do a business, they just didn't understand the process. So they're always saying, "Nah, forget about it, just keep to your job. There's there's no point starting a business. It's going to distract you from chilling with us as friends. So they didn't understand that, and they didn't like me going home early to work on my business because they thought that I was neglecting them. But really I was neglecting a business that I needed to start reading some books, watching some more YouTube content, playing around with the websites again, and then I'd get distracted heavily by social media, PS4s, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I'd get heavily distracted by all of those social media problems and PS4 problems that I was occurring. And like just before I'd go to bed, I'd try and come up with these crazy big ideas that would reinvent products online, ways to sell things online, and I thought I could get onto one of the biggest ideas. Yeah, I was trying to come up with all these crazy ideas, yet I didn't even have anything going for me at that stage. I was trying to invent these billion-dollar ideas, but I didn't even have a £100 idea to start with, so I was stepping too far ahead without even starting. Then it would take me back onto my day job. Through this process, I was working my day job between 3 and 5 days through the week. It was mainly weekends, but sometimes I would ditch college to work shifts to make a little bit more money. And in my job at JD, what I was there to do was just put clothes on a rail, put shoes on a shoe stand, and that was pretty much it. At this point, I was working between 2 and 3 hours, and I mean serious hours, not just like an hour here messing around for half an hour. I was actually dedicating a good 2 to 3 hours of solid work a day through this first process, which was me messing around on Instagram pages, trying to build some Weebly websites. So that's how much time and commitment I was spending through the first stage of my process, going through the entrepreneurial route. And at this stage also, I just met my girlfriend, and that also took a lot of my time away from the business, took a lot of time away from my friends. A lot of my friends would go mad at me because they're like, bro, why are you hanging around with your girl for? You should be hanging around with us. So there was a lot of conflict going through my life through this first process. Part of the process of my life was like the game changer for me, because everything landed on the doorstep for me. One, I understood what the cash flow quadrant meant, which was me needing to start a business. Two, my girlfriend, and she was trying to encourage me to do good things, yet my friends were encouraging me to do bad things. So a lot of things came into my life at this part that were really rooting for me to be successful where I am today. And at this stage of my life, I was making between £300 and £600 depending on how many hours I took at work. Now, the key aftertakes to take from this part of my life, the first part of my life, is I'm all over the place. In this part of my life that I just explained to you, I was all over the place. I didn't have any strict routine. I didn't have things on the calendar. I didn't have a to-do list. I was just a complete nut job that would do anything, anywhere. And I just didn't have any real discipline in my life. I couldn't discipline myself to stick to a 1 hour schedule where I'd work hard for 1 hour on my business. I didn't have the balls to go out there and start a business, really. I'd create the website, I'd create the Instagram pages, but I didn't really go out there and build traffic, spend money on ads. I was just not really, I was a fake entrepreneur in this first stage. I just didn't have the guts to go out there and do it. And I think that was due to a lack of confidence. The next thing is I just didn't really have any motivation, because I came from a background that's quite poor, if not very poor, considering to a lot of you guys watching this. In my family, there's no real like motivation. There's nobody that's doing amazing things, that have a nice car. We come from, like I said, quite a poor background, so there's just no motivation in my life around my family and my friends. My friends, they all weren't rich. None of my friends were rich. They all came from the streets like me, so we didn't have much money, so there was just never any motivation that we could see that would motivate us to go out there and make anything for ourselves. And the other thing is I was just not ready to commit to my business, because I just met my girlfriend. Friends are biting my ear off, so I just couldn't commit to my business at this point because I had too many conflicts in my life, and that led me on to just barely ever working. And that's the reason why I was only making £300 to £600 at this stage, and this is why I barely had a business. But this stage was the most important part of me, because this was the make or break. So this is the second part of my life. Now, this is one of the biggest transformations and was the thing that made me a successful entrepreneur. So really do pay attention to this now. This stage of my life was where I actually went full in. I went all into entrepreneurship and e-commerce, and I was actually starting to make money online for myself, which was amazing. Now, the first thing that I decided to do was quit college completely, never go back, and I had no means to ever do college again. Now, the reason why I decided to quit college is because I only went to college to keep my mom happy, my dad happy, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. You only go to university or college to keep your family happy. And I realized that college was eating up all my energy and all my time, which was very important for me as an entrepreneur and somebody that wanted to make money online. Now, college was eating up around about 3 to 6 hours of my day, because I had to commute to college. College was like an hour away from me, and I didn't drive at the time, so getting the train and walking from the train station was taking forever. So I understood that time is money, so I had to dedicate that time in college to my business instead. So I quit my college, and I just decided, look, I'm never going back. And how I quit my college was I actually put in the Facebook group, because in college we have the Facebook group, and I put in the Facebook group, I'm quitting. And then my school teacher messaged me and said, we'll get the quitting kind of like form put through and whatnot, so you don't have to come back again. And then what I decided to do was I actually decided to quit my job too. So I said goodbye to the job too, because one, it was really annoying me, demotivating me, making me feel like crap, and it was eating up again a lot of my time. So I had to go all in. And I was watching a video that said, if you're not all in, then you'll never do something successful. And now this isn't going to work for everybody, but this worked for me. And the reference that I heard from this was, if you're 99% committed to your marriage will never really succeed. And that's exactly the same way you got to look at your business. If you're only 99% committed to it, you're not going to win. So I decided to go 100% in and be 100% committed to my business. So the first thing that I started doing was I started buying and reselling high goods like Supreme, Balenciagas, Giuseppe Zanotti's. I started buying and reselling Apple products like iPhones, iPads, and because they were just high ticket items that you could make a lot of money from. And the good thing with that is you didn't need a lot of cash flow to start with. Now my day started looking like this. I started waking up at 9 a.m. So instead of waking up at 10 to 11, I started waking up every day at 9 a.m. And I started my day off by watching some motivational videos like Inky Johnson. Inky Johnson does some phenomenal motivational speeches and videos. At 10 a.m. I took a hot shower. I'm all about the hot showers. It really does wake me up. So at 10:30 a.m. I decided to go online and start to look for some buying and reselling products that I could buy for and then sell on myself. So again, like I said, at this stage of my life, I had those two buying and reselling businesses. One selling high-end products, fashion products like Balenciagas, Giuseppe Zanotti, Supreme, all of those amazing brands. And my other buying and reselling business was buying and flipping Apple products. So what I'd do at 10:30 a.m. was I'd actually go online and look for the deals and bargains so I could buy and flip them. 12 midday, what I'd do is I'd check my emails, I'd check all the website messages, I'd check all my Instagram DMs, and I'd start replying to them. 1 p.m. I start to eat some lunch. I'd get some lunch. Now the lunch that I'd be eating at 1 p.m. was all processed food. It was all microwave food or frozen food. 1:30 p.m. I started making more websites, and I actually started building websites for clients, and I started getting paid around about £200 to £500 per website. Now I was able to start charging people for websites because again, in stage one, I was messing around with websites every single day. So I actually got very, very good at making websites. So I thought, why not get paid for it as well and start charging people? At 3 p.m, what I'd then do is I'd go onto YouTube and I'd watch people like Brian Dean and Neil Patel. And Neil Patel is one of the e-commerce gods, and Brian Dean is the SEO god. And I got very, very obsessed with SEO. And I'll just put some proof at how good I am at SEO now by binge watching SEO and buying courses. So you can see that I rank #1 for search terms for my mentorship company. So you can see that on the screen. So at 4 p.m, I started implementing all of my SEO training and everything that I learned into my clients' websites and my own personal websites, and it really did pay off because I was just completely obsessed and fascinated with SEO and how the search engine worked. At 5 p.m, I started playing around with the Facebook Ads Manager and I started trying to create some campaigns. And at this stage, I actually started my first dropshipping business. So I actually started trying to take some time out to learn the Ads Manager because the SEO training that I learned wasn't going to make me lots of money to start with. As you know, SEO takes a longer time to obviously get that search traffic in. So I started messing around with creating some few campaigns, and I just wanted to see how it went. I started to take my relationship a lot more serious. I cut out all of my friends. So all my friends that I was friends with before, I said goodbye to them all. We had some heated discussions and we had a lot of arguments, and I just thought, Cam, in life, I just need to be selfish with it and just say, look, goodbye to everybody else in my life but the people that want the best for me. And funny enough, my partner wanted all the good things for me. She wanted me to be a successful business owner and not just some kid on the street messing around getting into trouble. So I decided to cut everybody out but my girlfriend and my family. So that was the next biggest thing I did, and that's the reason why this second stage was so crucial to my success, because I had no distractions, I had no responsibilities, I had no reliabilities. I was just dedicated to what was going to work for me, and the people in my life at this stage understood that, look, Cam needs to go out there and focus to get to where he needs to be. My girlfriend never questioned me when I was working long days on my ecom business. She never was like, Cam, I want you to spend time with me. She wasn't being needy. She loved me, but she knew that I had to spend a lot of time to get to where I am today. So I had the right people around me, because you got to understand that you're the average of the 5 people you associate yourself with. So let's talk a little bit about the key factors of stage 2, my transformation, my first ever transformation. Let's talk a little bit about what the key aftertakes were. So I went all in. So with this stage, I went completely in. I quit college. I quit my day job. I said goodbye to all my friends. I said goodbye to going out. I went all in on me and me only and my businesses. I was focusing purely on personal development, reading books, watching YouTube channels, buying courses. I was also focusing on money making tasks, so I was focusing on spending my time on what would make me money eventually with compound interest. So the next thing, as you noticed, is I cut out all the distractions in my life and I went complete savage mode, and I stopped going to family gatherings, I stopped going on family holidays, I stopped going on family weekend trips to like the coffee shop or whatnot. I went complete savage mode. I'd tell my girlfriend, we're not going out on a date night. You can either go out with your friends or you can go out on your own, because I'm not going with you, because I need to spend that time so I can work on the business and I can make us rich. And that's what I said to her. So I went complete savage mode. If it wasn't my business, I wasn't going to spend time with you. So that's what I meant when I meant savage mode. And you have to understand that, yes, I went complete savage mode, and that's probably not going to work for everybody, but it worked for me, and it really got me disciplined to working on what's going to make money. And a lot of people, when I did this, a lot of my family were like, Cam, the only thing you care about is money. That's not good. But I understood that I had to go through this wave for them to understand the reasons why. So the next thing is, you might notice, is I took my partner very serious. I committed to our relationship. Anything that was going to destroy our relationship or put a negative impact on it, I cut it out of my life, because I understood that my partner actually wanted something good for me, and she actually wanted me to be successful, and she was helping me with my journey. Should help me out with the copywriting for the websites, should help me out with the blogs, should help me out, and she was a pure queen, and I couldn't ask for anybody better. At this point in my life, I was making between £1,500 and sometimes I was able to make £3,000. Now we're at stage 3 of my life, the final transformation, and this is the part where I was able to make life-changing money. So this is how my daily basis looked like. I was starting to wake up at 6:30 a.m. every single morning, and at this stage of my life, I don't even need an alarm clock. My body just automatically wakes up between 6:30 a.m. and latest 7 a.m. So my body is in condition now. I've really got myself into a position where I'm setting myself up for complete success. Because of what I've learned with my personal experiences, the mornings are one of my best times of the day for me to be successful, because what I understand is my morning energy levels are insane. Now, a lot of people get late night energy levels, some people get morning energy levels, and the best time for me to get energy is in the morning. So that's why I decided to wake up very early. So what I'd do is I'd meditate for 20 minutes every morning. So what I'd do is I wouldn't touch my phone to start with. I'd just meditate, think of all the things positive in my life, because I started to believe into law of attraction. Whatever you think is whatever you're going to think and whatever you're going to personally put out. So I really started taking that very, very serious. I started writing down for 10 minutes all my long-term and short-term goals. So I'd write down every morning what I wanted to achieve within the year. And then what I'll do at the end of the day is I'd write down and also what I wanted to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years as well, as I knew that goal keeping was very, very important, and you have to really reprogram your mind into thinking what it needs to be, because at the end of the day, your brain can't determine what's real and what's not real. And a quick analogy that I'm going to give you is, when you're in a dream and you wake up and you thought, damn, that was real, it's because your brain can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not real. So by writing down all your goals every day, which is what I was doing in the morning, I was basically brainwashing myself into thinking, Cam, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, this is going to be real, this is going to happen one day. 7 a.m. I went out for a 30-minute run, and I still do. I go out for 30-minute runs every morning for 30 minutes. And the reason why morning cardio is very important is because it gets your brain going. Like, morning cardio, even just going out for a walk every morning, can change the way your brain works, and it's just life-changing what that can do for you. 7:30 a.m. I went for a hot shower. Always love my hot showers. 8 a.m. I would check all my emails and I'd catch up with my VAs on Slack. VA stands for virtual assistant. So basically at this stage of my life now, I've got systems in place which stands for save yourself serious time, energy and money. So at this stage, I was the business owner on the cash flow quadrant. I was leveraging people to make me money. So I had VAs for things like my store live chat, order fulfillments. I had VAs for pretty much the majority of my online stores. At 10 a.m. I was checking the ads manager, and I spent a good hour checking all my ads managers and making sure everything was working beautiful. 11 a.m. I would make sure that all my websites are doing maintenance. So I'd always make sure that all my links are working on my websites, make sure all the copywriting's done correctly, make sure all the apps are working well, because you got to understand that with websites, you can't just leave them, because sometimes there can be glitches that happen. So I was always making sure every morning that the maintenance was being checked. The other thing is I'd always check customer behavior through this process as well, to make sure that what are my customers doing on my website, what are they doing, what some of the traits that they're taking, so then I can basically make my website a little bit better each time. Because if you keep an eye on your customer behavior like I was, then you're going to know exactly what triggers your people on your website, which means your conversion rates are going to go higher. I was also checking my analytics, things like add to cart, bounce rates. I was checking all of that because I'm obsessed with analytics and numbers, and you should be too. So at 12:30 midday, lunchtime would come and I would eat freshly made food, no processed food, no frozen food, just purely fresh food. Because whatever you put in your body, trust me, it makes a big difference with your energy levels and your concentration levels. 1 a.m. I'd work on creatives, things like video ads and thumbnails. So I'd spend a good amount of time trying to build the next best videos for my ads, the next best thumbnails, because if I needed to remake an ad or if I needed to throw a few more creatives in the mix, that's when I'd spend that time making those things. 2 a.m. I'd work on copywriting. So for all the new videos I'm making, all the new thumbnails I'm making, they need to have copy, ad copies and ad headlines. So I'd work on those after I've done the harder part, which is the videos and the thumbnails. Then at 3 p.m. I'll do a little bit of product research on Droppoint, eSniper, Facebook Ad Turbo. I'll do all those little things. At 4 p.m. I'll take a 30-minute break and I'll just relax, because you got to understand that if you just carry on doing work, you're going to burn yourself out. So I did a 30-minute little break. 5 p.m. I would watch courses, I'd watch seminar replays, I'd watch YouTube content. 6 p.m. I would catch up with my mentors and my peers and just get on a Skype call or Zoom call and get basically their takes on how my week's been and whatnot. So I'd always catch up with my mentors every week. 7 p.m. I would reflect on my day, see what I could have done better, see what I could have changed to make my day more effective, because reflection's very important, especially every day. And then at 7:30 p.m. I would plan for tomorrow. Now the key to success is always being one step ahead, so planning your day for tomorrow is very, very important. 8 p.m. I'd relax. I'd either read a book, watch a motivational video, watch a film that's to do with entrepreneurship or motivational purposes. 9 p.m. spend time with my family or my partner. And then 10:30 p.m. I would go to bed. So guys, I would go to bed, and I still do now, at 10:30 p.m. every day. And on my phone, on the app, I've got the bedtime schedule. So it shows me my bedtime schedule, and it will tell me, look, you're due your sleep in the next 20 minutes. So I go to bed and I wake up at the same time every single day, because conditioning is so important, especially in entrepreneurship, because time is everything. So I'm really well conditioned now. So at this point in my life, I'm making between $15,000 net profit all the way up to $30,000 net profit. So that's a completely life-changing sum of money. And also at this stage of my life, me and my partner have been together for 4 years. This is very, very serious, and we're probably going to get engaged this year, just to tell you how serious we are as a couple now. What are the key aftertakes from my life in this stage? Number one is I mastered that one thing, which was marketing and e-commerce, whether it be dropshipping e-commerce or standard e-commerce. So I understood that mastery takes 10 years and you have to focus on one single thing, and then that's how you can get very successful. So before, in the other stage of my life, I was focusing on so many other things. I wasn't focusing on that one thing. I was focusing on things like websites, client work. I was just in so many different baskets, and I needed to focus on that one thing, and that's what I eventually did, and that's why I'm now able to make life-changing money. Now, if you notice that my daily schedule for the last process of my life, which is now, you can notice that I do the hardest things first, and then I finish off with the easier things of the day. Now, the reason why you should always start with the hardest tasks is because if you start with the hardest tasks at the end of the day, the likelihood of you doing them are going to be zero, because your energy levels are going to deploy dramatically. So that's a big key tip. Always start with the hardest things in your day. The other thing is I have a very strict routine. I do that routine every day, day in, day out, and I never change it, because I've mastered my daily routine. Another thing is I care for my mental health now, and I care for my physical health. Before, I didn't care about meditating, I didn't care about personal mindset development, I didn't care about eating good foods, I didn't care about exercise. So that's another thing that I took very, very serious. The next thing is I started appreciating my life, and that's by me writing down all my goals, meditating in the morning, showing appreciation for me just waking up every day, being able to make life-changing money at my age. I'm only 20 years old, so I was showing appreciation. And once you appreciate something, then you're never going to get bored of it, or you're never going to get miscomplacent. Next thing is I'm very, very organized. I'm a very organized person, and that is very key to success. The less organized you are, the more time you're going to spend on trying to get organized, and that then reflects in less income. And then the final thing is, you've noticed this, I've created a lot of systems now where I don't have to be there for things to work for me. Even if I'm there or I'm not there, everything that I'm doing now will work with me or without me, because I've got people in place and systems in place to care for me when I'm not there. And again, systems stand for save yourself serious time, energy, and money. So that's pretty much my whole life, going from a broke street kid that failed the education system, that had no money, to being able to generate 7 figures online in revenue and multiple 6 figures in net profit. So I hope my life lessons and my life transformation through those 3 different processes have taught you something, and that is anybody can come into entrepreneurship, e-commerce, anything to do with making money on your own and be successful, as long as you're willing to make sacrifices, as long as you're willing to put your head all in and be 100% committed. Things can change dramatically for you. Now, does that mean you have to go as drastic as me and completely cut everything out of your life? No, but me personally, I wanted to get to where I wanted to be now very fast. And when I say fast, I mean 3 to 5 years, because I don't have a good degree to go out there and get a good paid job. So for me, it was either this or nothing. So that's the reason why I was very dramatic with my whole kind of life-changing process. Now, I hope I've motivated some of you to go out there and absolutely crush it in 2020. We're in a new decade, and honestly, this could either be the decade of your life or the worst decade you'll ever have. So let me know if you guys want to see a day in the life of my life and show you the process that I just mentioned on the last one and show you guys it real in the flesh. So just make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you turn post notifications on so you never miss a video.